Massive news just hit the timeline. Gumayushi is parting ways with T1. Gumayushi's story this year has been filled with, of course, turmoil. He had a very, very rough start, smash subbed in, and went back and forth. And then in spring as well, we had the whole debacle too with Joe Marsh having to step in, and there was a lot of tension clearly in the T1 camp. A lot of people attributed that to, of course, they blamed the coaching staff for these decisions. But I cannot imagine a world where T1 would run in a way where Keria and Faker's input would not be significantly weighed in a circumstance like this. But throughout all of that, the main thing, even though the statements from T1 were very ill-informed, especially the ones from Joe Marsh, and kind of set up everybody in the team to kind of fail, regardless of what the team would achieve or not achieve. The results of T1 and in the end, the level of Gumayushi at the World Championship was the only thing that could make us as spectators and as a community forget all of the turmoil throughout the year. Gumayushi ended so much stronger than he started, and the story of that was a very, very inspirational one. He had a fantastic World Championship, and he fought through the hardships and really, really grinded his way through to a level that was extremely, extremely respectable. Obviously, getting to the point where, deservedly so, got the MVP of the World Finals. Winning games on things like Kaiser, winning games on things like Koki. I do think that the Gumayushi redemption arc was a beautiful one. But now, as we zoom out, I do think that what T1 need to assess is, of course, the internal turmoil of the team. I mentioned before, I'm sure there is deep wounds. Wound sounds very harsh, but like deep wounds from both sides in terms of where you see and expect the future to be. I think from a rational side, we need to keep in mind that now Gumayushi joined very, very early in his, when he was just a youth, to join the academy team, and then he hopped onto the team, and Keria and Gumayushi has played together for so long. There's certain dynamics that run its course, and I do think that T1, it's already an incredible feat that the team, the core of the team, the majority of the team stayed together for so damn long. And I think these are decisions that eventually happen when players become available. When players become available, you need to take, of course, tough decisions. I think from Gumayushi's side, I think that whichever team he's going to join next, if he's going to join a team at all, because obviously from his side, he always spoke in a way as if he wanted to stay on T1 until, his career was over. Maybe this is Gumayushi then choosing to retire or taking time off. I hope it's not the case. I really, really hope it's not the case, because I do think that Gumayushi, like if I see Gumayushi next to Cuz and BDD, and I get to see the storyline play out where KT is going to enact the revenge and they're coming after T1, and Gumayushi is a part of that squad, and we have a more motivated Gumayushi than ever, bro, I'm bought in. I want to see that story unfold. So I hope that's something that we're going to get. I hope that, and then the KT Gumayushi, I'm praying for it, I'm praying for it. It's like Gumayushi making it clear. It's like T1 didn't want me, so I'm coming after them. Like I wish that is the storyline I want to play out in my head. And I think we have to also mention T1 Gallery, some of the most psychotic fans ever. Like this is like on par with some football fans. Have been harassing Gumayushi like crazy. It's quick. There's a difference in being like a hater and like trolling online or whatever. It's there were moments. I remember there was a moment in time where like Gumayushi, like they are sending like funeral hearses. They're sending trucks, of course. There was also a point in time where like Gumayushi's family's church was doxxed. Absolute psychotic things, and I don't think anyone deserves to go through that. And I hope. That I don't know exactly what measures were taken against this, but I do think that these things existing is a very, very bad thing, and I'm sad that Gumayushi had to go through that. Now, looking at the T1 side, I have said throughout the year that the main core of this team lies in, of course, Owner, Carrier, and Faker. I think these are the three players that are irreplaceable by the nature of the market as well, right? Like I think you need to keep in mind when someone says something like this, you also have to remember the context of the other players that are available. ADC, we always thought about players like Viper or like, are they gonna play Smash? Even though like I think Smash probably would get way too much hate. I think it would just be too tough to bear. In the end, T1 decided to go for Peyz. So I watched Peyz his entire career, which is quite short but very, very explosive. His time on Gen G, I think that he was like the opposite of Gumayushi. He was anti-clutch. He just wasn't clutch at all. He was insane through and through, but then always the final game of the season, Peyz just stumbled over the finish line. And maybe T1 are like, yo, we just helped Doran win a championship. Maybe we can do the same thing with, of course, Peyz. I think that Peyz had a fantastic MSI, but I also think that MSI that they won was a relatively easy one because of how far ahead, like Chovy was of everybody else at that MSI and Canyon too. So it was an easy one. When the games get tough, that's where Peyz, of course, stumbled. I think a big one that stood out, of course, was that same World Championship in 24, and you know, where they almost stumbled to FlyQuest. I think Peyz and Lehens played very poorly, and then we had, of course, that moment where they played against T1, where he got Scan ulted on Ashe. You know, all that being said, his volume across the board, his standard, his floor throughout the season was insanely high. Like, this is a player that always put out numbers, and I think that during that era of Gen G, when like Canyon was slacking or whatever, it was Peyz and Lehens like dropping really, really mean numbers that allowed them to win games over and over again throughout all regular seasons. But then it was always the same thing. It's like in playoffs, it's like, you guys remember that Chovy Azir series? Like, he had to do completely bombastic things on Azir, and I think a part of that was, for example, Peyz on, of course, Lucian. But I'm not going to do the thing where people only talk about the past. I just wanted to bring that context into the year of 2025. So this year he was on JDG. And for those who don't watch LPL, JDG went through like 3 complete roster rebuilds, 2 complete roster rebuilds mid-season. He played with, I believe, 4 different supports. This team was a complete mess. The only thing that was redeemable about this team was Peyz and Shun. And Scout had probably the worst season of his career, and this team was a complete mess. But somehow, this team was still competitive. And I'm telling you, the biggest reasons were Shun and Peyz. Peyz actually expanded his skill set. He actually was capable of grabbing the bull by the horn and actually carry games 1v9 style. For those who don't watch, and like he basically like dropped gala games. You know those like rare gala games, like those occasional gala games where you just like, whoa, gala just 1v9 this, Jesus Christ. Peyz was dropping those games. I think that this year was really, really, really nutritious for Mr. Peyz. I just keep in mind, don't look only at his result on JDG. Remember how many roster changes JDG did. They had the CV Max debacle. ZV Max left JDG, went to D+. It's like, he played so damn good in a shitty circumstance. So I can see what T1 see in a player like Peyz. I can see it. I think that Peyz will do well on this team. The main thing that you're losing here is the Gumayushi clutch factor at the big tournaments. But I do think that Peyz will help them secure potential trophies within the LCK. And then the hope is, of course, that Peyz is going to learn what T1 Magic truly is about. Because it does seem when you win one, the second one comes easier if the roster remains. I say that because people sometimes forget T1, the core of this T1 roster, the ZFGK, they were branded as chokers for a solid 2 years. It started with, of course, the summer finals in 22 that they lost, and then the world finals that they lost in 22. And then, of course, it was the spring finals in 23. and then it was the losses at MSI as well, and they were just, you know, the kings without crowns up until, of course, world finals in 23. So you know, that DNA takes time to set in, and then when you finally have it, you learn. And I imagine, you know, considering Peyz is so early on in his career, T1 is also thinking about the long term. Like, this is the type of player that you sign, and you're hoping that he's going to be a part of your organization for the next 3 years to come. So very, very big news. Still hoping for the Gumayushi KT era. You know, put Gumayushi in there instead of Dokdam, and let him enact his revenge. Let me see the John Wick Gumayushi arc. I need it. I need it in my life. Big news. I'll catch you guys on the next video. This is probably, you know, the biggest news of the whole offseason. So I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.